Hey guys, Wade Willis here for Wade's Wade Reviews, talking to you guys today about the series finale for my teen romantic comedy. And before I go any further, guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. It helps a ton. Now, this is how you end a series, in my opinion. I absolutely loved this final episode. This third season was very good. I still think the second is my favorite season, but this final episode was absolutely fantastic. And honestly, after the previous one, if you guys have watched that video, I felt like they could have ended it there. But they gave me everything I could have wanted in a final episode. We start off with Hachiman and Yukino. They're planning this prom that's completely unnecessary with each other. And the awkwardness after their basic admission that they're into each other and their like romantic embrace in the last episode, it's incredibly awkward, cute. Just their interactions are really really adorable in my opinion. They're both super awkward people. But yeah, I love their interactions and just them kind of like flirting and trying to be like cute to each other is super funny. Hachiman at one point thinks that the venue that they're looking at, there's like a wedding there, but like Yukino's basically like, hey, this is perfect. But she means for the prom that they're going to have. He thinks that she's talking about for them to get married. And she's like, and he's like, you're skipping a few steps. And it's just really hilarious, the interactions between them. They found a way to bring in every character. I think almost every single character that could have been in the episode was in the episode. And they did it in a way that felt as natural as possible when you have every single person in there. So they had virtually everyone in their class was helping with this prom. So I thought that was a nice way to keep or bring back everyone. I'm just gonna say, Aroha, like Yui's I think Yui is the best like girl. She's one of my favorite like people ever in a show. But Aroha, she's towards the top for favorite characters for me in a show too. She's hilarious the way that she interacts with people, but I loved when she comes into the classroom and the gaming club. Uh, she's like, oh hey, like kind of like talking to him, and they're referencing how Hachiman said that she can be incredibly addicting, like her personality and stuff. And they're just like, yeah, she's incredibly addicting. We knew this was coming or whatever. It was pretty funny. So she has her little fan club now in the gaming club. And the way they built it up to have Yui come in to help them was, it's giving me chills just like thinking about it right now. Everyone's in the classroom, but there's one person missing, and it's Yui. And then you just hear these footsteps coming up, and you're like, oh, I hope it's Yui. And it is her, and she does her hello thing, and it's so cute, and you're just so happy that she's in this episode and back with all of these people we care about. The prom itself, it was all right, but the part that I liked the most in it was the teaming up of my new favorite duo, which is Komachi and Aroha, and or as Aroha likes to call her, Rice Girl. And the dynamic between the two of them with the banter is grade A. I would watch a spin-off just of these two interacting with each other. It's too funny. Because Komachi basically calls Aroha out for her BS and like sees through her things, where we as the viewer have assumed that she's into Hachiman, and she kind of like says things that if you really read into the way she's speaking, you're like, okay, she actually likes him. And at one point, Aroha's saying to Yui, like, oh, in 3 years you can drink, and then you can, like, saying you can go and make a move on him and stuff. And, uh, and Rice Girl tells her, well, Yui can drink in 2 years, so have you been talking about yourself? Were you actually talking about yourself? And Aroha doesn't like that. And then Hiki's sister tells her, like, I thought that he would end up with, like, some girl that would really, like, make him be a better person and make him grow. But now I see there's a possibility that he could end up with someone equally as trashy as him. So it's awesome. And that duo comes back at the end of the episode too. And we get a reveal of Yukino telling Hachiman that she loves him.
あなたが好きよ。
And as a Yui and Hachiman shipper, the way this happened was so cute and I loved it. It seemed just so real how someone who's loved someone for that long would finally open up to someone and say, you know, I love you. And Hachiman gives a Hachiman response. He's like in shock, can't really say anything. And then she gives a completely real response of just kind of like being embarrassed and running away. I loved it. I also loved in the show how everyone sees that Yukino and Hachiman are dating, even if they don't necessarily admit it or consider themselves like Facebook official yet. So I thought that was a pretty cute and smart thing that they added into the show. I know, like, for me in particular, and I'm sure there's a lot of other fans, we want the service club to still exist. We didn't want it to disband because, one, the things that that club would do was, I thought it was really cool and a unique idea, but also I just love Yukino, Hachiman, and Yui together, like, solving problems. I just love the idea of it, and I love that trio together. They are a great crew. And it looks like the service club is kind of disbanded, but Hachiman and Yukino found a way to have finagled into getting access to the classroom still. And who shows up but Rice Girl, aka Kamachi, saying that she wants to join the club. They tell her, hey, like, it doesn't exist anymore. And then Aroha shows up and says, oh, no, it does exist. And you see, like, her little stamp that she approved that it exists. So we know that Aroha and Kamachi, they devise this plan together. And then we see the real reason. And Yui comes in and says that she has a request for them. She has the guy that she likes. This is, I think it's the only real admission in front of Hachiman that she does like him, but says, this guy that I like, it looks like he's dating this girl who's the most important friend that I have. And saying that she wants to be friends with this friend forever, though. And that's essentially how it ends with, and Hachiman feels incredibly uncomfortable, and he's saying, oh, yep, my teen romantic comedy was wrong as expected. Perfect ending. Oh, and one subtle thing they did in this episode that I thought was very smart, when they brought in, and they did give us the little awkward sexual tension with Hiratsuka Sensei and Hiki, but in that, when they're talking to each other earlier on in the episode, she gives Hachiman's like quote, basically his very pessimistic quote that was the start of the whole show, and he's kind of disgusted by it, and we see how much Hachiman has actually grown, and he actually sees how much he's grown. And I thought that subtle um, addition into the show at the end, showing us how much he has grown and developed, was really smart and incredibly well done. But overall, this episode was fantastic. Gave me anything and everything I could have wanted in a final episode of a show like this. We feel happy. Even if you were a Yui shipper, you have to be content with the ending of the show. If you're rational, you know there's no way that the three of them could still be friends if Yui ended up with Hachiman. I just don't see a way that Yukino um, goes up and admits that, hey, I liked you, but I still want to be friends with Yui. I just don't see that happening. Her introverted self would just kind of disappear from the both of them. That's how I see it. So it ending this way, as much as I didn't want him to end up with Yukino, it makes the most sense for them to actually be together as a unit in the future and hopefully forever. But yeah, I was so happy with how this ended. Completely different from how Food Wars ended, and I'm actually going to be doing a video comparing the final episode of this show and the final episode of that show, and talking about how to end a series and how not to end a series, because that was horrible, the ending of Food Wars, and this was absolutely fantastic. The second time I watched it through, I had the same feels and chills that I had the first time I watched it through, which is pretty hard to do for me personally. But yeah, guys, I'd love to know what you guys think. Did you guys like the episode as much as me? Was there something missing that you wanted in the episode? I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. But yeah, I'll be doing a few more my teen romantic comedy videos on the series as a whole, and again comparing the finale of this and how fantastic it was to Food Wars.
Hey guys, this is Wade Willis. Thanks for watching my video. Here's 2 other videos I think you might like, and don't forget to subscribe to my page.